Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Today we're going to be taking a look at college football bowl games that don't exist anymore. Yes, with the bowl season right around the corner, these are just some defunct bowl games, beginning with the Aloha Bowl, which took place in Honolulu, Hawaii. It operated from 1982 to 2000. It was preceded by the Pineapple Bowl, and it was succeeded by the Hawaii Bowl, which is currently called the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl. This bowl was played at Aloha Stadium, the multi-purpose stadium that honestly is terrible and basically went abandoned in the year 2020 because of its structure problems. But the original Aloha Bowl was normally a very good matchup. Its debut in 1982 featured the number 9 ranked Washington Huskies taking on the number 16 ranked Maryland Terrapins, and it commonly featured ranked teams throughout its entire existence. Of course, not only did you have this bowl taking place at Aloha Stadium, you also had the Pro Bowl. So Aloha Stadium was kind of a happening place. It was a beautiful vibe in Hawaii. I think we really need to build a new stadium in Hawaii just because I love the idea. It's just such a luxury place. You go down there for the Pro Bowl, for a bowl game. Unfortunately, they're having some serious funding issues when it comes to getting a new stadium built, and the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors are currently playing at a de facto practice field, which they've kind of turned into a college football stadium, but it certainly is lacking. We will see what ends up happening to them. The next bowl that's defunct is the Grantland Rice Bowl, which operated from 1964 to 1977. A lot of different stadiums it took place at, including Tiger Stadium for just 1 year, but mainly 4 different stadiums is where it took place. The intent for the Mideast game was to match up the 2 best teams from 9 states, including Alabama, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Mississippi, Ohio, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. In 1967, Louisiana was added to the Midwest region. From 1964 to 1968, the game was played at Horace Jones Field. In 1969, due to cold weather and declining attendance, it was moved to Baton Rouge. And that is the history on the Rice Bowl, which is now defunct. It's always interesting to see the old logos for bowls that are now defunct. It just kind of gives you a weird vibe because you know it doesn't exist anymore. The next defunct bowl, it is the Freedom Bowl, which originally existed from 1984 to 1994, just 10 years, and was played at Anaheim Stadium. And this was a decent matchup. The bowl frequently invited a team from the Western Athletic Conference to compete against an at-large opponent, and routinely they would have ranked teams. In 1984, Texas, they were ranked number 19. They lost to Iowa, who was unranked 55-17. You also had a ranked UCLA team go there in 1986, but Anaheim Stadium, certainly unique, originally built as an MLB stadium. When the Rams moved there, they added on a bunch of seats, and that is when this game would have been played there, the Freedom Bowl. After the 1994 season, the Freedom Bowl was discontinued as the Western Athletic Conference's automatic bowl bids were reduced to 1, with the Holiday Bowl and the Cotton Bowl Classic having the choice of the conference championship, which defuncted the bowl. And honestly, this bowl had 0% chance of surviving unless it was moved to a different location, considering the situation surrounding Anaheim Stadium, where when the Rams moved to St. Louis, they reduced the capacity, they removed a bunch of the seats, and they made it a baseball-only stadium. The Freedom Bowl is now defunct. The next one, it is the Little Caesars Pizza Bowl, which took place in Detroit, Michigan, originally at the Pontiac Silverdome for 4 years from 1997 to 2001, and then also at Ford Field from 2002 to 2013. So it operated from 1997 to 2013. The conference tie-ins included the Big Ten, the MAC, and the Sun Belt as an alternative, and there was a total payout of $750,000 per team. This now became the de facto Quick Lane Bowl, although I will say, looking at that logo, very nice logo, and actually there were 2 ranked teams that were involved in this game. In 1999, Marshall was ranked number 11. They played at the Pontiac Silverdome against BYU and won 21-3, and the attendance was almost 53K. Very nice attendance early on in the history of this bowl. And then Toledo in 2001, they faced Cincinnati. They were ranked number 25. I mean, maybe Toledo will be ranked this year going into a bowl if they win their conference championship, considering they could finish 12-1. In 2001, they beat Cincinnati with an attendance of 44K, but the attendance did decline rapidly, and we're talking about Ford Field, which is an NFL stadium. Obviously, it's got a capacity over 60K. They drew just 23,000 people when Central Michigan faced Western Kentucky in 2012, and barely any more in 2013 in a matchup between Pittsburgh and Bowling Green. This bowl, you can say it technically does exist because it's kind of just considered the Quick Lane Bowl, but the tie-ins are a little bit different. Either way, this can be considered a defunct bowl. The next one that's defunct, it is the Houston Bowl, which barely lasted only from the years 2000 to 2005. The conference tie-ins were the Big 12 and Conference USA, and the newer bowl now is considered the Texas Bowl, which does still exist. That came into fruition in 2006. The stadiums used were Reliant Stadium, which is the Houston Texans stadium from 2002 to 2005, but originally the debut of the Houston Bowl was played at the Astrodome, and there's a very interesting photo of the 2003 Houston Bowl. Very rare to see sun shining down on Reliant Stadium, which is now called NRG, but you can see that. A lot of empty seats. I'm surprised they were able to find that HD of a photo. Yeah, that's the Houston Bowl, because you can see the logo in the middle. There it is right there. Very rare, and what an ugly logo that is. And when you look at the total matchups, there was just one ranked team involved in the 6 years of this bowl's existence. It was 2005, where number 14 TCU beat Iowa State 27-24. The Houston Bowl is no more. The next now defunct bowl is the Silicon Valley Football Classic, which took place in San Jose, California, only lasting from 2000 to 2004. The conference tie-ins were the WAC and the Pac-10. The bowl was initially televised on Fox Sports Net and later moved to ESPN2 in its final years. Surprisingly, the final 2004 game was a financial success. This was largely due to the bowl requiring each school to purchase 8,000 tickets at $45 each for a total payout of the bowl of $720,000. Furthermore, both schools accepted no upfront money to play in the game. Unfortunately, in the end, poor attendance figures were too much to overcome to keep the classic alive. In April of 2005, it was announced the game's license would not be renewed by the NCAA, and the bowl was no more. It did feature one ranked team when Fresno State matched up with Michigan State in 2001, Michigan State beating Fresno State. The total attendance in 2002, when Fresno State beat Georgia Tech, was 10,000, just over 10,000 people. Not good for that bowl. And then the final defunct bowl, it's the rarest one of the rarest defunct bowls of all time, the Seattle Bowl, which operated for 2 years. The conference tie-ins were the ACC and the Pac-10 at the time, 2001 to 2002, and it took place at Safeco Field. Actually, originally it took place at Safeco Field, and then it moved to Seahawks Stadium, which is now called Lumen Field. But yes, 1 year, Safeco Field did host a college football bowl game, and it just looks so weird. They didn't even change the infield. You would think they would do that, but this reminds me of the Oakland Coliseum, remember, in September, where they'd have the infield still there, and you'd have NFL players running on the dirt. But that's what it looks like. Very rare photos. This is like the one football game that Safeco Field did host in its entire history. Now, Safeco Field has hosted some soccer games in like 2005, 2006, but a very rare thing, the Seattle Bowl, which only existed for a total of 2 years. The game was discontinued in 2003 when financing could not be secured. So that is kind of the history of the Seattle Bowl. You can see in its short life, It did host the number 11 Stanford Cardinal. They lost in 2001, but the attendance was pretty lacking considering they didn't crack 40K in either year. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.